Hey everybody, this is Doing Lines. This is the sports betting podcast where we bet on kind of not really the sports, but honestly a decent amount of the sports are the sports, especially if that sports is the football. I'm your host, Kyle Ayers, joined as always by my co-host, Austin Huff.
Kyle, at the end of last week, I said I was going to Mizzou. It's a good thing we didn't put a fake bet on that because I didn't end up going.
At all?
Not at all. At all.
Okay.
I was kind of
I guess I don't know how you
just...
could have gone a little bit.
Yeah. I went
some.
I dipped my toes in, and it
Right.
wasn't cold. But it was very cold. The snow was a factor, but that I woke up. My daughter was sick. My wife's aunt was oddly in the hospital, which get better soon. And this was coming good because honestly, the talk of Thanksgiving was one of our bets from last week on Doing Lines. Actually, a couple of the bets that we had, the ages of people that were at the Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
But then also how many questions Deb do. My wife's aunt, Debbie, would ask during Thanksgiving, and if it was more or less than the number of team wins by teams with ER.
It is crazy because we live in this world where it's like athletes know what the over-under on their yardage is. So why would Deb not know the over-under on the Deb do question Austin Work ask?
But Deb did not know, but there was my father-in-law who listens to this podcast every week did know. And so we were keeping mum is the word until the next day when it was revealed to the whole family after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, if this is your first time listening, we come up with very stupid bets. You're not going to find the book anywhere that fall in line with the NFL's games that week. Ridiculous ways to get weird lines that you can bet across. We have guests come on, they get $1,000 fake dollars for a very fake charity, and they bet across our 6 bets. We had Jay Light, host of Wrong the Game Show at the Comedy Store, a very funny stand-up comedian. Jay was on last week, and
he was awesome.
We had some fun Thanksgiving bets, and it was crazy. That was the highlight bet, I think. Dub.
Deb do. Yeah, does Deb do. And you know what's even funnier is I got a lot of shit the next day for not knowing what Deb does for a living, because obviously once they found out about this bet, they went and listened to the podcast.
Yeah.
And they heard me say that I don't know what Debbie does for a living.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of shit for that. Guess what? I still don't know what Debbie does for a living.
You're gonna find out she's in morning radio. Like,
yeah, right.
You're like, Debbie's asking me really specific questions about like listenership and
and how to steal listenership from my show. I don't know. So I just gave her
funny. Like, she's asking me
playbook.
about studio equipment and stuff, and
she's launching her own radio station.
Oh man, that's good time to get in.
More like Deb, please don't.
So I want to go through the bets real quick. So this one was, does she ask you more questions about your work? Then there are, what was the other part of this bet?
Wins by teams that
end in ER. And she asked you 8 questions.
She asked me 8 questions.
And that's more than there even are teams with
There
ER.
were only 7 ER teams in it. Yeah, so the bet was called Hardly Know Her. And obviously, look, with 2 comedians, Kyle and our guest last week, Jay, it had to be, I had to go to the oldest joke in the book. When a word ends in ER, you got to say hardly know her. Yeah. And I hardly know Deb do, or Deb do hardly knows what, about what I do. So we had her, she asked 8 questions, and there were only 7 ER teams in play.
And that was a big win. Both Jay and I won $500 off that. Jay won $400 off that. That was a big bet for both of us.
That's a big dub do.
Yeah. Here's another one of the odd bets, and then we're going to talk about the interesting parlay of the number 3. Last week will there be more? Will I cook and pull off more successful dishes in my cooking strategy?
The group chat was popping off on this one.
Or will there be more passing touchdowns on Thanksgiving? So this was Kyle cook.
We got 5 touchdown passes alone from the first game.
It looked like that was going to be the massive over. I pulled off pretty much everything I tried to do, and this one landed as a push.
It's well done, Kyle. You know what?
10 passing touchdowns.
Kyle, I think I took passing touchdowns on this, and so I lost this. But you know what? I'm happy to lose this bet.
You did, but you just took the push. You didn't take the L on this one. So I gave the push. To both people, because otherwise you would have lost $600 on this one, locking in that I suck at life.
But even more so, well done, because you make everything from scratch. Even down to the pie crusts. So I kudos to you. And this is a skill. It's like when you and I were friends for over 10 years, and then I learned that you were an all-state swimmer in high school.
Yeah.
It's like you have these things about you, these skills that
I
I had
I
no
I'd
idea
almost I
even
almost landed
existed.
at 8 because the pie crust was so frustrating. I almost just didn't make them, and I kept having to put it back in the freezer and get it back to a cold temperature to then try and re-roll it out. But ended up pretty good. Couple
And
pumpkin pies and yeah.
was Thanksgiving just you and Bailey, or did you go
No,
to
no, we had some people come by. So we had
okay,
like 11 or
okay.
12 people over. Yeah, no, we both gained 700 pounds.
Well,
We did not hit,
because that was part of the bet was how
yeah.
much weight you gained over the
No, that
weekend,
was
right?
actually in the turkey on turkeys, which was there's 3 games on that day. Will anyone win by exactly three? 3 to 1 if they do, 3 to 1 more if I gain less than 3 pounds. This one hit the exactly three, which brings us into your bet
Yeah,
about
the
what are the
ages
ages of the
of
people at Thanksgiving.
yep.
Will anyone win by exactly the age of anyone? And there was someone who was 3.
Yeah,
So
there was a
Jay
kid
parlayed
there was a
these
kid
two
there that was
together.
3 years old. Yeah,
Uh,
because my daughter's just almost 3. She turns
Yeah,
3 in a
we
couple
knew
of
that
weeks here.
confirmed there would be a 2,
We
but
knew there was a 2.
there was a 3 arrived, and the Lions won by 3 in a game that maybe should have had another team winning by who knows how many. And thank God the Bears only had that one timeout they couldn't use because we landed on all this fake. This is big winning. I mean, Jay ended up winning $600 from a $200 parlay. I looked it up and said these were both even odd bets parlayed together, which gave him $601.82 to win.
We should have had a bet last week. In hindsight, will the Bears end in a, look, not to tease, but we do have a bet about the Chiefs winning in crazy ways this season. The
Yeah,
Bears have lost in just as many crazy
yeah,
ways this season,
yeah,
and we should have had a bet. Does Matty lose his job this week? Because I think in hindsight, we all should have seen it coming, right?
yeah. Yeah, the only reason we might think he wouldn't lose his job is because he's not good enough to like figure out where the meeting is to get fired.
Yeah, or he wouldn't show up on time because his clock
Yeah.
management is so
Yeah,
bad.
I know he hasn't switched his clock over yet because why would you? It changes in 6 months again anyways. That's the kind of energy I get from him. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
why would I
right.
change the time? He changes the time back on his phone because it's pointless to do it the
You
other
know
way.
what? Hand raised, I was fooled by Matty Eberflus when he got that haircut. When he started going high and tight on the sides, I was like, this is a dude, this is a totally different. Like I started to respect
Sure.
him and I started to like trust that, oh, he's got this figured out. He's going to be a good
That
head
only works
coach.
if you're the Eagles coach. Then you and your team is just so good they can overcome you being almost literally nothing.
Yeah.
Your coach is not allowed to be a fan. And that's exactly how he. I think I'm excited for the Bears to hire Matt Nagy back. I think he's the best coach they've had in 15 years. That's a former coach of the year who finished over
Yeah.
500 there and was a
They
double doink away from, a playoff run.
they are talking like they need an offensive minded head coach, and there is who better than to hire the offensive coordinator of the best team in football, the Kansas City Chiefs, Matt
At least
Nagy.
the one
Like,
that's not in your division, so they probably won't even let you talk to their coach.
yeah, right. Yeah, it's
So that was,
true.
but that was a big win. There was a 3-year-old and a game won by 3 and a Turkey Day 3. Huge bet. If Jade throw more on that parlay, it would have even really escalated. And then what other bets did we end up having last week? Um, oh, this weird bet of over under on 196 yards for both quarterbacks in the Eagles Ravens game. Lamar hit
Yeah,
the
the bird is
over.
the word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lamar hit the over. Neither of them would have, but Lamar did at the very end. But what is it? Hurts did not. And this bet actually flipped because of your caveat of offside or a false start penalty for the Eagles, which brought you into the victory on this bet. You bet the no, but hit
Nice.
the yes because the flip. And then
That's why I
Kyle
bet that.
cooking.
That's why I bet the no. I bet the
Yeah.
no because I was like, I'm banking on there being a false start by the Eagles because
Yeah.
the
And
12th
then,
man
but if
came into
they'd
play.
both hit the over, you would have lost because it would have been the yes flip to the no. And then our last bet was how many more Black Friday shoppers or yards for a Bears skill player. There, DJ Moore had 97 receiving yards. 99 million online shoppers on Black Friday.
I
So this
knew it
one
was going to be
was
low.
barely won. So this was a loss for you and a win for Jay and I, which brings our
Damn.
totals to the week. I know it was a big bump up from last year, but still not where it was 2 years
I was
ago.
banking on someone getting like 120 like rush yards or
Right.
receiving yards or
Even DJ
something,
Moore
and
just
then
having one other big catch.
I'll catch.
That's
If
true.
he would have had
A
like one
screen.
more, even one of those screens that they love to run to him, if they
Yeah.
would have ran one more screen to DJ Moore,
Yeah.
I
DJ
would have
Less, if
won
you
this bet.
will.
And I knew the Black Friday shoppers were going to be low this year because everyone's complaining like, oh, the economy is so expensive and
Yeah. I mean, I
inflation, blah
only
blah
bought
blah.
eggs.
Yeah, because you got them on sale for only five
Yeah.
dollars,
Yeah.
$5 an egg, right?
So here's where we landed. Last week, Jay ended at 1551.82. Good week.
50. What is it?
1551.82. So
Okay.
$1,551.82. Good week. He hit that parlay, and that really helped him out. Austin, you ended at plus 1,200,
Okay, I'll take it. I'll
and I
take it.
ended at
Oh no,
plus
no,
1,350.
of course.
I just had the big win on the turkey 3-1. You bet on that. We both won big on that, and then I won big on Deb. That was 500 more dollars. So the current score between you and I is you have $4,062, and I have $7,990.
7,000. What is it?
990.
Oh my, you have nearly $8,000, and I just cracked 4,000. You are doubling me
You
essentially.
know, you pave paradise, you put up a parking lot. I always say that.
I- You do always say that. You
But I
do.
mean, it was a weird week. It was just a weird week. The Titans played a game that I was just like, as I pay attention to the Titans and watch it, I'm like, damn, this feels like those times the Chiefs used to have those teams where I was just like, oh, this kind of just wasn't anything.
Kyle, that game, and look, we talk a lot about the Titans and the Chiefs on this podcast, obviously, because those are our
Yeah,
two teams that are near and dear to our hearts. But I'm driving to Chicago from St. Louis after Thanksgiving with my daughter blasting Frozen on her little iPad in the
yeah.
back seat, driving through central Illinois, which I know you have made that drive before.
Oh,
You
always
know
fun. Just a fun
just
drive.
how bland and unscenic it is.
Yeah,
And I'm watching the Titans go down seven very early on, then 14,
yeah,
then 21, then
yeah.
28. It was 28 to nothing, like in the blink of an eye in that game. And they scored 21 points in the first quarter alone. And I'm just sitting there being like, this is my hell. This, like, everything was going wrong. I think the Titans had 10 offensive plays through a quarter and a half of that game. Like,
It's really, really like, and then they got what's it, Westbrook Akine,
oh, he's
who
he's he's the one
has
saving grace.
12
Yeah.
catches for 11 touchdowns this season or something
Hmm.
like that.
All right.
This guy
Hmm.
will, if they throw to him, it's a touchdown. Over
Yeah.
about half of his catches this year, legitimately, are
He has
touchdowns.
the he has the longest touchdown of the season, 98-yard
He's
touchdown
also
reception.
has the
And
league lead for receiving touchdowns this season.
you know what's funny? It's Nick Westbrook-Akine and Will Levis, the two least likely candidates to be the saviors of the season,
He has 20
have
catches and 8 touchdowns.
yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, those two guys have been like the team, like the two guys that Titans fans have rallied around, and
Yeah.
it's insane because if you would have said that week one, even after that Will Levis got awful pick, that Will Levis and Nick Westbrook-Akine will be the guys that everyone loves on this team,
Yeah.
I was like, I would have been like, you are a psychotic person. But now here we are.
I mean, what
And
stands out in this list? Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin, Amon-Ra St. Brown, George Kittle, Nick Westbrook Akine, Mike Evans,
uh-huh.
and then honestly, Demarcus Robinson, because
Yeah.
the Rams throw the ball to the two little guys the whole way down the field, and then Robinson catches the touchdown because they're
Yeah.
double covering two little guys.
It's insane that look, big year for Indiana Hoosier football because that's where Nick
Yeah.
Westbrook-Akine went. And
Yeah.
it
It's
is
crazy they lost him and got better.
yeah, right. Seriously. It's that's been it. But oh my gosh, it is I don't know. I don't want to lament because nobody cares about the Tennessee Titans. The Titans don't move the needle at all, and I recognize that. I know that. But it is It's been bad. And I mean, for people, the little bit that the Titans did move the needle this year with the Will Levis memes, something we've talked about at nauseum on this podcast.
Yeah.
Even he has like he's played well since he's returned from injury. So there
He
have
really,
not been
even
any
aside from he
memes.
made some good throws last week. It wasn't like a great week, but he is kind of on the low, just sort of in the middle there again. Just in time for them to drop him for somewhere else and him have a nice little Darnold revival with a
Oh
different
yeah.
team. Like I
He
think he'll have
ranks
a
in the top 10 in every major stat category since returning from his injury. So like
yeah,
I
I
mean
think he'll be a pretty good quarterback for the Jets next year.
Aaron Rodgers, my goodness, dude. Like, hey, bud. Hey, bud. Do you mind if we pull you aside real quick? Hey,
You know what is a
Aaron.
wild thing is the Jets could still be good if Rodgers didn't insist on being the best player on the team. And that is what is so wild about them. If Rodgers was like, I'm remember when Peyton Manning was like, I'm a little washed, maybe I'll just play differently. Rodgers is like,
Yeah,
I'm a little washed, maybe I'll ruin my friend's career. Instead,
yeah,
just hand the ball to Brees Hall. The dude has like 9 yards a carry and will break a huge one every game. And they insist on Rodgers is so stubborn about having to be the focal point of the offense that if he was not, the Jets would still, I think, make the playoffs or at least be 500 if they were. I don't know. They sure certainly hilarious to fire your coach and then never win again.
yeah. It's funny that like Zach Wilson, did not play great last year, and but it still won like what, 7 games, I think.
About
And
twice as many as this.
everyone said, "Oh, well, just wait till Aaron Rodgers comes back next year. This is a Super Bowl team." And Aaron Rodgers comes back, and he's been the detriment of this team. He's been bad. He's been not good. And it's just
Yeah.
funny to go from Zach Wilson to a guy the age of women that Zach Wilson dates.
Right.
And it is, and now they're even worse. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's fun to
But
watch
no, no,
though.
no. Actually, it does make sense because of the logo on the side of the helmet. It's
Yeah.
JETS, 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 Jets. It makes all the
Yeah.
JETS
Well,
sense.
it's just I like it's a fun time every single week to just see whose fault it is. And that's been a really fun recurring segment in the sports world is like Rodgers blames through the media no one, but who does he secretly blame? I mean, you fired the coach and the team got worse. You brought in a Hall of
Mhm.
Fame receiver and you got worse because you're
Yeah,
forcing it to this guy. It
right.
is
And
incredible to watch.
fired the GM.
Fired the
Still
GM,
getting
kept the
getting
horrible
worse.
offensive coordinator because he's your boy, or I don't know, has like fucking blackmail on you or something.
Yeah, it is weird that relationship. I don't even want to dig into that because I'm sure
Yeah,
it involves some
maybe
like
Rodgers
cultish
sent him a
behavior.
nude or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It would just fall in
yeah,
line with
yeah.
the Packers quarterback life trajectory. I'm just excited to see what marginalized group Aaron Rodgers exploits money from once he
Well, and it's
retires.
it's funny for like Pat McAfee, who like last year when Aaron Rodgers was going through recovery, I feel like having him on his show every single week was great for ratings. Now it's like he's just a mediocre at
Yeah,
best quarterback.
yeah,
And it's so now it's like, yeah, we don't really care what Aaron Rodgers has to say anymore.
yeah.
And it's that whole like weekly segment with Aaron has kind of
I think that Pat McAfee needs to do a segment on College Game Day where if Rodgers completes a 20-yard pass, he gives him $175,000.
not for like tuition or anything
Not for
like that. It's
tuition,
just
not
you just
anything.
give the money straight
If
to
you can
Aaron.
throw a 25-yard pass, we'll give you $175,000. And then he'll
I
be like,
like
"Have you
that.
ever talked shit on NFL players?" And Roger will be like, "Every week on your show, I do it." And then he will mess it up.
I love how Aaron Rodgers is like, we've got to eliminate the leaks in this building. They're coming from somewhere. It's like, dude, you go on Pat McAfee
You're
every
on the biggest
single
sports
week.
show of the past 10
Yeah,
years every single
don't.
day.
Yeah, let's not. And I loved the quote from Aaron Rodgers is like, we need to eliminate all of anything that doesn't have to do with
He
winning. We
said
have to
that
get
from
out
like
of
his
this building.
voluntary from avoiding involuntary minicamp. He's on his couch at
Yeah.
home. He
Well,
said that
and
from like
then
Aruba.
doesn't he have a Netflix series coming out very soon, like about like his career and stuff? It's like,
Yeah,
dude, it's like,
they need to eliminate all distractions and everything that's not about winning. He said from a lean-to while doing ayahuasca during minicamp.
Aaron Rodgers is just, in a word, exhausting.
Honestly, he is exhausting. I don't remember if it was Tony Kornheiser or Nick Wright who was just like, at this point, he's nothing. He's no longer anything, and he
Yeah.
feels it happening. And I think that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. He's can still make some good throws. He's trying to run more this year than I've ever seen him too, which is crazy. You
Yeah.
just keep
Yeah.
seeing him take off. I'm like, just he won't check it down. He's forcing everything. He's like, I got to do the back shoulder. I love it because
Of
I want him to fail. I don't even want the Jets to fail. I'm just like, you need to have more self-awareness, and you can Brady had self-awareness and can play a long time.
does does
They adapted.
does Aaron Rodgers have the most forgotten Super Bowl win of any of like the
That's
major
just because no one who
quarterbacks?
saw it is alive anymore.
He won so early in his career, which made his career so promising, and I think gave him literally the
He won it.
longest leash
Yeah.
for the rest of his career. But he really hasn't done anything since, and not even just not done anything.
I
He
have
hasn't
theories. I have
made it to another
theories
Super Bowl since.
about why I think that is. And it is because he values himself more than winning. He values himself and his statistics more than anything. And what's his most elite statistic? Touchdown to interception ratio. And that is what he's probably the greatest at ever, right? Remember he hadn't thrown a pick six for like 9 years at one point?
Mm.
Rodgers will not try game-winning throws in the playoffs. He won't
Ooh.
do deep, insane, risky things. Everyone else does. He won't. He'll lose game. He's too safe. He's just too safe. I think he's too safe all the time. And it's fine in the regular season because you'll just go 12-4 if your team is good. But in the playoffs, when every team is good, you have to try and say because it kind of just turns down to these weird plays. Who executes
Yeah.
the lower percentage plays, the higher risk plays? I think he just is too safe. I don't think he wants to throw picks, so I think he doesn't chuck it. And I think
Eh,
they don't like think about how many times the Chiefs picked up 3rd and 14 in weird playoff games.
Yeah, right, right.
And
Well, he's like that in all aspects of his game because it's not just he plays it safe with even down to his physical therapy, where he doesn't do physical therapy. He
yeah,
just instead listens to dolphin sex noises.
he plays it safe for who he talks to in his family with a lowercase f. I I don't know. That's my theory on him as a player. Is I think he values. He doesn't want to. He thinks that his. I don't think Mahomes gives a fuck if he throws a million interceptions. I don't think Stafford gives a shit. And Stafford has quietly had maybe I think a better career than Aaron Rodgers.
Stafford's throwing no look passes in the playoffs and the
in
Super Bowl.
2013 to Calvin Johnson,
yeah.
and he's the only one not looking at him when he would throw the no
Yeah.
look passes. Like we still know you're going there. He's the only guy on your team. I think at this point Stafford and Rodgers are sort of catching each other. Like Stafford is continuing to increase his career. I think Stafford's a Hall of Famer, and obviously Rodgers will make first ballot Hall of Fame because all the MVPs. But Stafford has a better chance of doing anything the rest of his career.
Yeah. Yeah.
With pretty similar weapons.
Crazy.
Anyways, great bets this week.
Matt Stafford, 2025 Tennessee Titans quarterback. Look, people are asking.
People are asking.
I think free agent.
I think Stafford is just it, man. He's like the most underrated player I've ever seen. He's so good.
He is
Anyone
really good.
who watches him play, you just like this is because people will be like, is he a Hall of Fame player? I'm like, the only reason you'd even ask yes or no is if you don't watch.
Yeah. And what he's done in LA, heck, what he did in Detroit for really bad Detroit teams.
Yeah,
was
he
really
still
good
has every
and
record for the most passing
then,
yards through X amount of games.
Has to be the only trade in NFL history where both teams won the trade,
Yeah.
like of big names like that.
Yeah.
Because Detroit's so much better with Jared Goff, and
they
Matt
certainly
Stafford
have a lot. Well, if Stafford had the weapons that they have, if Stafford was on this Detroit team, it would be fucking nuts.
Sorry, not to say that they don't.
But they couldn't accumulate those assets having a big quarterback like that.
Yeah. Right. And Matt Stafford has done amazing things in LA, obviously, and I feel like both teams, like Jared Goff, very well could win Super Bowl this year.
I think they're probably the favorite.
Somehow.
I think that the Eagles will probably. I think the
Uh-huh.
Eagles are going to beat the Bills for the Super Bowl. If I'm just calling what the Super Bowl is going to be right now, I think it'll be Eagles Bills.
You're unjinxing it. You're trying to unjinx. You're
No, dude,
trying to reverse jinx.
Chiefs are too injured.
The Chiefs
too injured.
The devil magic is too real. It is.
Too
They're the
injured.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, it is true because everyone who roots for them asks what high school you went to.
They just can't lose, and it doesn't matter.
We got to get to the bets. We got to get to it all.
Let's get to the bets.
Great get.
Julie Stewart-Binks. Let's get to her. Our guest this week needs no introduction, but we're going to give her one anyway. You've seen her everywhere from Barstool to ESPN, Fox Sports, SNY. Now you can catch her on Bet Rivers, Toronto Sports Rush show, all about the Maple Leafs. So all of our huge Maple Leafs contingency, you're begging us every week, talk more about the Maple Leafs. Well, our guest this week can scratch that itch for you at Bet Rivers. She has a three.
Is that true?
What? Oh, no,
Yeah,
no, that's completely made up.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Austin just distracting from the fact that Chicago lost to the Maple Leafs literally 12 hours ago.
Yes, right. Yeah, look.
I was like, oh my gosh, wow. I'm a gullible Canadian, so.
No, I come to you from Chicago, and I know everyone here is very upset about last night's outcome. But she is a three-time Telly Award winner, not to brag. She is Julie Stewart-Binks, coming to us via challenge from Maggie Gray. Julie, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on. And I was very thrilled when Maggie had suggested me because I'm a lot of fun. It was like,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, first of all, there's like so much to dive into about the way she even just said that. But now I'm like, wow, I gotta really bring it. Like I gotta be locked in to how the character I play in life. So, which is just what my shirt says, a highly functioning hot mess. So a shirt
if you guys aren't watching on YouTube, she does have a top hat and a cane right now.
Just yeah. And a fake mustache. She is already so much fun.
But I look like the Monopoly money guy. So just another day in paradise.
Julie, don't feel too much pressure, because if you're not fun, then we just take it out on Maggie for saying that you were fun. So it's just her fault for hyping you up that much.
Okay, I guess I can see that spin zone, but it still makes me not good.
You can follow her on Twitter at JSB_TV and JulieSB_ on Instagram. Julie, now look, this entire podcast is incredibly dumb, and probably the dumbest podcast you have ever done and probably ever will do. However, we do take our dumbness very seriously, and we are all people of means. Obviously, Kyle and I host podcasts in our bedrooms, but you also you are a person on TV day in and day out, so you obviously make a ton of money. So in turn, we like to take the fake money that we win on this podcast and donate it to fake good causes. So Julie, is there a fake charity that you will be donating your fake winnings to this week?
Well, first of all, I'm also doing this from my bedroom, which is also my workspace, which is also my workout space, which I live in a studio. I live at the studio. From the studio, I'm like, you got it from
I'm live
JSPN.
from at the studio.
Yeah, yes. If you see my boss walk by, ask him if I can get a raise, if you don't mind.
My bed's right over there. Okay, so this comes from like a personal place of something that's very close to me. But this is a charity for people that have that have a lot of FOMO during the holidays, and in particular in going out and doing all the holiday stuff, but then also having to work. And it is a balance that nobody can have. It really truly means if you're going to really like enjoy yourself during the holidays, you're going to be feeling like shit the next day. And it's really tragic, and it's something that I've experienced and continue to experience. And if you like fun, it's a really tough time of the year.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so basically the foundation is for people that love fun but also have to work a lot during the holiday season. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure. I live in Los Angeles, and like a week before Thanksgiving, people will be like, all right, we'll talk in February.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's not even next month.
That's a long time from now. Yeah, that's after the Christmas decorations are
Wait, who's saying you'll talk in February?
Everyone always wants to circle back. Everyone. They're like, let's go do fun stuff. Circle back in February. They love to circle back in February. That's the big thing.
Kyle also lives in LA. Kyle lives in LA, and that entire city shuts down for about 2 months.
They just say circle back because they missed the exit in their car and traffic takes them so long. They got to go all the way around.
I lived in LA. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right.
I
Well,
love
look,
it.
I think it's a noble cause because I think a lot of people relate to the all of the fun that they have to miss out on because they have to work. And obviously
No,
you're
and no, but they don't miss out on it.
They just
So it's
do
a
it and
unique,
suffer.
maybe it's a unique charity of people
it's
that
the
have
people
so
that
much FOMO that they
push
don't miss
themselves
out
too
on
hard.
fun. So then
Okay.
they also have to, but they also have to get up the next day.
Okay.
It's
All
almost
right.
like fear of
It's
making it
basically for
out.
me, okay, guys?
So really, Julie's playing for a charity that is just herself. So
Yeah.
she's going
In
to
a specific Thursday where she went out and had a lot to do Friday morning.
she's going to
It's
donate all of
really
her
just
fake winnings. Yeah,
entrenched in my brain. Yes.
yeah. Liquid IVs on the
Hmm.
reg is what are needed.
The
Okay,
charity to make Pedialyte labels even more adult.
might be the first person that's ever played for a fake charity that's just themselves. Honestly, that is.
Hey, there's more of us out there. Just
There are
nobody's,
more. No,
yeah,
yeah.
nobody's, doing the work to get to that place where they acknowledge it. So
Julie,
Smart.
I'll
I
be the
can never
first.
say
Smart.
I can never say no to anyone. If someone says the words nightcap around me, I'm gonna say yes every single time, which only leaves me out later. And I host a morning radio show, so I have to be up at the crack of dawn
Like,
before the crack of dawn.
yeah, you having to say no when you're out and having a good time is maybe one of the hardest things a human has to do. Is
Yeah.
if you're having a good time and you're like, I'm gonna stop having a good time right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Well, and
requires help.
just us doing this podcast tells you how charitable we are.
Yeah.
And we are that way with our, not just our money, but with our time as well. And,
Mhm.
we want to give back to those that ask us to stay out for one more drink. And we do
Mhm.
every single time. All
And
right.
this is the toughest month to do it. It's tough this
Yeah.
month.
It is.
You want to have had not done it, but you do.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that made
Exactly.
sense.
Those Christmas themed pop-up bars are only going to be around for so long.
I
and
know.
You
Oh
have to
yeah.
experience
Oh
them.
yeah.
You just
I do
never
love
learn.
them. I've got a list going
Okay.
actually. You catch me at Tam O'Shanter. All right.
All right.
read
We've got
we got to do
Julie,
the
we've got
bets.
Yeah, we've got 6 bets laid out for you. Kyle's got 3. I've got 3.
Yeah.
These are, as you'll see, completely made up. We do ask that you bet on at least 2 of the 6 bets with the $1,000 of fake cash that we are giving you. But we also ask that you do lock one of your bets in. That is double the winnings or triple the losses. So that can either really help you or, as some people have learned, it really, really bites you in the ass.
More
So,
than happy to parlay anything. If that hits, we'll Google what that is. And
Yeah,
we
we'll
had
cross
one
that
hit
bridge
last
when we
week
get to it.
actually, and so I finally crossed that bridge, like I said, and I was
I love
on
it.
on Reddit
Of this
twice.
journey.
So we'll lay out all 6 bets, and then you can let us know which ones you like and how
Okay.
much you want to put on those. My first bet is very simple. I'm a Chiefs fan. Here's the bet. Do the Chiefs win from some stupid shit that pisses everyone off? That's the whole bet. Do the Chiefs win from some stupid shit that pisses everyone off? So-
Win
I
what?
think
Win the next
Win the
game?
game. Win their game against the Chargers. They play the Chargers Sunday night. Do they win by some stupid shit that pisses everyone off? So
Yeah. Hammer the over. Hammer the over.
The
on that one.
multiplier on this one is how many points they win by. Here's basically what it means. Is the game crux on something where if some stupid shit hadn't happened in this last moment, it would have gone the other way.
Okay.
So
And
I think
this like entails like the final probably like 2 minutes or so, right?
Right.
Like
No.
because if it's
A little
it
garbage
has to
time.
be even less than that.
oh,
Even
it
less
has
than
to be
that.
on the like the
It
final
can't be a
play.
position where the Chiefs outplay someone. It just has to be some stupid shit.
Okay.
Well, it's a
Okay.
know it when you see it type thing.
Okay.
And the committee will get together and discuss whether it was a skill play. I do not consider a blocked kick to count because
Okay.
that was a play someone made. But what I consider a guard tapping a center for some reason, we could talk about it.
Julie,
Next
Kyle's
one.
a Chiefs fan. It is very
I
annoying
know.
that
I'm trying to.
everyone hates
I'm
him.
having the numbers
Yeah.
go like in front of me. 'Cause it's like, what if something stupid happened early?
See,
and then
this
it
is
just
where
stayed
there's
that way.
I don't even really consider
Yes.
the Raiders
Yeah.
still would have had to have made a 54-yard kick last week with their kicker who'd missed 3 in that game. So I think they still would have lost even if that didn't work. But the internet doesn't agree that winning games is good.
Kyle doesn't like that everyone hates his team.
Oh, I
Really
love it
awful
now.
lot.
I've embraced it. I want the Chiefs to win because Taylor Swift runs on the field. I want the Super Bowl to be
I
so
would
upsetting.
only just for that.
I want it.
I
Yeah,
want it for all the people that hate Taylor Swift. I would want the Chiefs.
I want
to
it
win.
so much. I want the worst penalty you've ever seen to not get called. I just want to be the ultimate villain at this point. Next bet: are there more tweets from Skip Bayless on Sunday or the highest point total for a team? So last week he had 38.
What's he averaging right now?
Around 38. He had 38 last week, 40 the week before,
Woof.
32 the week
Wow.
before that. I have not looked up when the Cowboys play.
And it was who will have more, him or
The Cowboys play on Monday, so they won't be there Sunday. Is there more tweets from Skip Bayless on Sunday or the highest point total for any team that day?
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
So
from
he's
12
hovering around
a.m.
38.
But as
12
we
a.m.
said, the
Sunday to
Cowboys don't play
11:59.
until Monday.
So the Cowboys play Monday. He's good to fire off one or two for every game. Usually, you know what I mean, as the game concludes. But also, you got to factor in he could just die. And
you do have to take that into account.
you know what? I'll give
Right.
you if he does, you win your bet no matter what.
Right. Yeah, it's a
And
push. Okay. All right.
You also have to factor in whether one of the three of us dies this week. So you never
Mhm.
know.
If one of us
Yeah.
does, you lose your bet.
Yeah. If one of us does, I will be suspicious, but I could be
Yeah.
the one that's dead. So then I don't know.
I died, and it's fairly sus.
Yeah, if one of us dies, it's very
yeah.
sus.
If one
Very
of us dies
sus,
and the
very
other
sus.
ones are tallying up tweets,
Yes.
I
And
will
if Skip
still
Bayless
remember.
dies, it's gonna be like
Yeah,
I
where
mean, they're
were
looking
we?
at us, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Julie, I'll be honest, Kyle and I, there's a good chance we are on some people's lists because there's a lot of people that have lost a lot of fake money on this podcast that, probably have some people out to get us just so they don't have to pay their dues.
We have some
their
charities
fake
that
dues.
we had to steal money from some various charities.
Oh, right. Right.
There's some fake hitmen out there for us, for sure.
I was gonna say I'm definitely on people's spite list because I have spite lists of my own. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, right.
And we have
sure
to assume
they have
Skip
one.
Bayless is on none.
Yeah.
There's no unhinged sports fans on Twitter who would ever overreact about anything with a profile
No.
picture of some backup quarterback with a flaming arm. All right, so I got that one. I got you. The Chiefs win from Super Shit. More tweets from Skip Bayless on Sunday are the highest point total for a team on Sunday. They have to play Sunday as well. So I think that also eliminates the Lions.
Okay.
Which I felt was an important caveat.
Okay.
And last bet, there's 7 noon games Sunday and 6 games not at noon or 1 p.m. for Eastern Standard Time. Are there... Okay. Are you at 1 p.m., Julie, or noon? When is your...
1
p.m.? Okay, I'll call them the 1 p.m.
Okay.
games.
Okay.
Oh, this is hard.
There's 7 games at 1 p.m. and 6 games not at 1 p.m. Here's the bet. Are there more wins by 7 from the 1 p.m. games or more wins by 6?
You guys said this was going to be an
From
easy
the noon
podcast.
games.
Yeah, what the heck?
Like now I gotta go. Like I'm like, okay, is this
And this is not
trick
exactly
question?
7 or
Yeah.
more from noon games or 6 or more from not noon games.
I love how this question's worded.
wanna
It's
talk
so
about-
perfectly ridiculous. Okay.
I'm gonna
The
call them the
numbers
one,
in
I'm gonna
front
call
of
them the
Julie's
1,
head are
1
still
p.m.
there.
games.
I know.
Either
More
way,
wait. More wins
more wins by 7 or
by
more
7.
points from the 1 p.m. games or 6 or more points from the not 1 p.m. games. I'll run down the slate, even though who cares because no one's going to remember any of this.
No, it's
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
Don't save that oxygen. Okay, it's okay.
I don't need the details.
I don't need the details. Just I'm
Or
going blind on this.
If you, yeah.
Okay, so are there more wins by 7 of
Or
the
more.
1 p.m. games? Yeah, 7 or more, or
More wins by 6 or more from the not 1 p.m. games because there's 6 of those. I'm gonna go through the list.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah, if you
sorry.
pull
I'm
it
like I'm going to do my research
Yeah.
on my own right now.
I thought it was a
But
pretty
you can
even
go through it 'cause
breakdown,
this is a
honestly, when I
podcast,
looked,
so-
because a lot of the
Yeah.
heavy hitters are the non, but there's less of those games. So the non-noon or 1 p.m. games, there's Packers Lions, and then there is Seahawks Cardinals, Bears 49ers, Bills
That's on
Rams.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Packers Lions.
Yeah,
Counting
and-
that?
Yeah.
yeah. So just
'Cause
any
that's a-
non 1
Any
p.m.
non
Sunday
1
game.
p.m. Sunday game.
Okay.
Okay.
And Chargers Chiefs and Bengals Cowboys. So a lot of the bigger teams there in those slots. The 1 p.m. games are Browns Steelers I feel like the Browns play the Steelers like 6 times a year.
They do.
Doesn't
They
it feel
do,
like
yeah.
half of the games are Browns Steelers?
Well, is that and another game that we get this week is Titans Jaguars.
Titans,
They
I feel
play
like, yeah.
they play every week.
The Titans
All
and the
the time
Jaguars
they
play
play.
every single time I'm not thinking about it. Or I'm like, who do the Titans play this week? That means it's the Jags.
It's the Jags. It's the Jaguars every week they play. And it's always on Thursday, which is weird too, because every team's only supposed to have one Thursday night game.
This one, it says Titans Jags this week. The game is actually just going to be an email.
they're just gonna send us
I mean, well, we did say, right, they might be circling back like after everyone is they're not in LA, but we all know what we'd rather be doing.
Yeah.
And Titans Jags is definitely a game played between two teams who went out the night before when they shouldn't have. So they're right there in Julie's camp.
Yep.
All right, so those are my 3 bets. I got the Chiefs win from some stupid shit, more tweets from Skip Bayless for the highest point total, and then the more wins, the third one. I'll just call it the third one.
Yeah, the third one.
Third
the
one.
third bet. Yeah, we've all got it down. All right, my bets. My first bet, I'm calling my cousin's Penix. Okay, I know his name's pronounced Penix, but for the sake of this bet, we're going to go with the alternate.
For the sake of killing our search engine optimization, Austin.
I'm like trying to follow all these bets, and I'm just listening to it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did you just say? I'm like, is he talking about his cousin's dick?
Look, we go viral on the wrong sites.
You never know. Yeah, we'll go. We need to up our southern demographic.
The size of my cousin's dick, or
so we've got a family reunion going down in Minnesota this weekend. Kirk Cousins returns to the place that he called home for years. But obviously, Kirk Cousins has been struggling lately, guys. 3 straight losses, hasn't thrown a touchdown in any of them, and 4 interceptions just last week. So he's not playing that great. And a lot of people in Atlanta, some people are saying, hey, do we turn to the rookie, Michael Penix Jr.? So I want to know, do we see our cousin's Penix this week? Okay. Is it something that we see? Does he get into the game? That Brian Flores defense in Minnesota.
Oh, but he might get into the game, but would he start it?
Is this any appearance at all from Penix?
Yes, any appearance at all. So
Kirk Cousins
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins could die.
He could.
A lot of our bets are contingent on this sort of thing. I think Kirk hasn't been playing well because I don't know if you saw the Kohl's Black Friday sales were a little out of control this year.
They were out of control.
So I think he was probably
he's got a lot of Kohl's cash.
I think am I supposed to like pick these as they're happening?
No, you can pick it all at the end.
Yeah. Right. Or
Penix play any plays at all?
If he plays any plays at all. Now, however, I will sweeten the pot a little bit. Okay.
Good.
If we do see Penix and he shows shrinkage in the lead of any kind at any point, you get an 8 times multiplier.
What do you mean? Does he
if he takes an offensive penalty?
Yeah, what does show shrinkage of the lead? I'm just gonna need an elaboration.
Or we have a close up on the fact that it's like we see that his junk is getting cold.
Look, it gets very cold in Minneapolis, you guys. No, if he comes in and the Vikings will probably be leading. If he's able to shrink that lead at all at any point, then you get an 8-time multiplier, which is where he was drafted at, the 8th position. So now you will get a multiplier if we do see Penix and he digs into that Minnesota Vikings lead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Yes, I am going to say we are going to have to probably speed up a bit because I have to go to therapy soon.
Okay.
And I'm going to be talking about all of this.
And people listening know that she doesn't normally go. Yeah. She signed up because of this during this.
Yes,
this will be perfect timing.
Julie's got therapy because of this podcast.
Yeah.
The new coach bump is my next bet. Bill Simmons talks all the time about how teams get a new coach bump. And Chicago's got Thomas Brown as their new interim coach taking on the 49ers on Sunday. Which is more, shots of the new coach or the bump? And by that, I mean, are there more points scored by the Bears or shots of Thomas Brown during the game? Now, this is not during going to or from commercial breaks. Those are excluded, and going to or from halftime. Those are excluded.
So this is during gameplay.
Got to be in gameplay, yes. From the
and you're going to count these?
I'm going to count them. I've got the game DVR'd on my
Okay,
TV.
so I got it. Yeah.
So points by the Bears or shots of Thomas Brown. And look, Eberflus gave some big zaddy energy. I don't know if Thomas Brown does the same. So just
I don't even want to
take into
participate in that verbiage.
No.
I don't want my voice around it.
And then my last one. The probably the douchiest thing anyone can ever do is talk about their fantasy team. It is the most annoying thing ever. And this is the final week for most people's fantasy leagues.
Yeah, mine's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it is. It is honestly for someone to bring up their fantasy team. It is the lamest, douchiest thing anyone can do. With that said, my team is a win away from the playoffs. So I got to bring up my fantasy team. Does my fantasy team score more fantasy points this week, or does my favorite team, the Tennessee Titans, give up more rushing yards to the Jaguars? They gave up 255 to the Commanders last week. Or do they give up more rushing yards? Trevor Lawrence is out. Probably will be running the ball a lot more with Mac Jones.
Sometimes the Jaguars running backs are just out because they're bored.
Sometimes, yeah, you never know.
They just kind of go sit on the sideline for a little bit.
My team has scored anywhere from 80 to 160 this season. So which is more my team's fantasy points. My team's name is the Tickle Monsters. We're playing Ven Diesel, which is my buddy Jeff Venable. His team name used to be the Venable Bulldozers, which was a lot more fun. So fantasy points or rushing yards given up by the Titans. Julie, you've got 6 bets laid out in front of you. We do ask that you bet on at least 2.
A lot of bets. How am I supposed to remember what happened at the beginning of this? Like, I got my notes.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. $1,000.
And these notes don't help me at all.
She wrote down 7 1 p.m. games, 6 non-1 p.m. games.
I wrote yeah. W wins, you get 2 times, losses, and then 7 noon. Nope, 1 p.m. where
it looks like me trying to show work on a math test I didn't study for.
Parlay, and then Bears. Okay,
it's just a bunch of words.
Okay, so actually, I'm going to start with the first one with the Bears and versus the Bears points versus how many shots of Tom Ford?
Thomas Brown.
Tom Brown.
Ford. Yes, Tom Ford. Yes. Yes.
He's going to be there in the crowd. Bears are going to score more points because the 49ers suck. And also, I think everyone's a little weary about ISOs after how many ISOs of Taylor Swift was too many, right? They started becoming very aware of that. So I think, Tom Brown is no Taylor Swift yet, but if he starts dating Travis Kelce, I guess.
You never know. You do have to take that into account.
Never know. Could happen. I think that the Bears are going to score more points, mostly because of the 49ers sucking.
Okay.
But
how much money do you want to put on that?
They will be inspired by that new coach bump. And I feel like you have to. But I would like to. I'm going to put $300 on that.
$300. Okay.
And I would like to have put money on the bumps because we are doing lines right now.
Sure.
But
sure.
I'm not.
I love that.
Because I'm playing for a charity that needs to find balance in their life. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. If anything, going away from doing lines, if anything.
Yes. Okay. Next one was I'm gonna say Skip Bayless is gonna have more tweets on Sunday. I'm taking over than the highest amount of points scored by a team, which is this one's the odds on this one have to be really high because the Cowboys aren't playing then, right? They're playing Monday.
Yeah, they're Monday night.
They play Monday night.
But I think he will be a bit unhinged because it is that time of the year. So, yeah.
Okay.
I expect him to be more unhinged than normal.
And how much? And you never know if Ernestine's at home. He could be preoccupied. So you never know with Skip.
You never know, but it might not even be football tweets, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
You might
imagine he just has a UPS driver show up to the wrong house and his ring cam is set off, and it's just going to be him being like, "Who is this all brown clad guy at my door?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Can
never
see
know.
some of those coming out too. Okay.
All
And
right,
then
how much money?
$500.
500. Okay, so you've got $200 left.
So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go big or go home, and we're not going home.
Okay.
And then the last one would be the Chiefs are not gonna win by stupid shit.
Ooh.
The Chiefs will win, but not by
it.
stupid shit. No, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna be the MVP of the game won't be stupid shit.
Right.
And
he's walked away with enough MVPs this season.
Yeah, I'll put I guess the remainder of my
maybe
money.
they're resting him for the playoffs.
That would be
200.
$200
Yeah.
And which of those bets would you like to lock in as your lock of the week?
Actually, definitely the first one.
Okay.
I don't know why I put the least amount of my money on that one, but
it's all right. You know, the
nothing has to make sense. So
no, nothing makes sense on this podcast. Julie, the last thing we got to ask you before we get you out of here, you of course were challenged on this podcast by Maggie Gray, and you answered that challenge, which kudos to you for doing so. Is there someone in turn that you would like to challenge that you think you could beat on this podcast?
Oh, beats. Well, I would like to challenge Rachel Bonetta because she's a football gal. She's a comedian, but she's also been out of the football circle for a bit. So I think that maybe I could have a slight edge on her. And she's also, like me, a highly functioning hot mess.
Yes.
This is merch I made, by the way, while I was under the influence. So I'm selling these now. Okay. Right.
That is exactly what a highly functioning hot mess would make merch while you're under the influence. That is incredible. That is so on brand.
You should see the diamonds I made. One of them is spelled incorrectly, which is actually perfect. I was like, this is perfect. This shirt.
Okay. All right. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rachel Bonetta, fellow Canadian, right?
Yes. Yeah. Although I will tell you guys, I'm taking my oath of allegiance on Friday to become an American.
Ooh! Oh, shout out! Congratulations!
Thank you. I'm excited about it, and I'm also excited about the people that are writing my life, the story, because they've made it a very interesting time to become a U.S. citizen. And
welcome.
Yeah. Never better time.
Yeah,
definitely things are super tame here. Actually, maybe Julie is exactly what this country needs. You know. Hopefully.
To be honest, I have thought about running for office, so I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I know that's not what you meant, but
okay. Well, we had the privilege of having Rachel's now husband Zach Schwartz on last year, and he was fantastic. So yeah, we'll put the challenge out there to Rachel to join us, and hopefully she does. But Julie, thank you so much for
thank you guys
very much.
If I didn't have to run to therapy to discuss what this last time with you guys was, like this podcast, I guess is what you would call it, then I would stay on and have more random fun.
That's okay.
Normalize therapy.
She's gonna lay down next to her. She's gonna lay down next to her therapist and just be like, and so the third bet was about the 7 noon games and 6 1 p.m. games.
They're supposed to, like do math, and they were doing double or triple or losses, whatever. I didn't come here to do math. This is specifically why I did a phys ed and drama degree, so I didn't have to do calculus in high school. Actually.
Oh my God. Well, Julie, thank you so much.
Maggie Gray. Guys.
Maggie Gray was right. You were a ton of fun. Thank you, guys. Guys, give her a follow. Maple Leafs fans, all of the Maple Leafs fans that listen to this podcast, guys. Finally, you can check her out. Bet Rivers, Toronto Sports Rush. Check out the 3-time Telly Award winner there. Julie, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, I think we got to lock our bets in for the week as well. I'll drop
my
cash here
before we have to go to therapy.
I'm gonna put $100 on the not 1 p.m. games. I don't really even know what I mean. I'm gonna put $300 on the Chiefs not winning stupid shit. I think they might lose, honestly. I'm gonna put $300 on the skip tweets, $150 on no Penix, that's my lock, and $150 on the Bears points.
Okay. I am gonna go with $100 on yes, we will see my cousin's Penix. Uh Mainly the only reason I'm going this, I want to say no. I want to lock it in as no, but with that multiplier, it's
Yeah,
worth putting at least a little bit of money on.
sure.
If he gets in and he shows shrinkage, you get 8 times. So
Yeah, sure.
it's worth it. The new coach bump. I'm going Thomas Brown shots of the coach for 200. I think the new coach gets more.
All right.
$200 on that one. My fantasy team, my fantasy points are more than the Titans rushing yards allowed by I'm going to say 300 on that. And then
How much on the
I'm going
Penix
to say
one is your guess?
Penix. I'm putting 200 on my Penix.
All right. You could do a line off your
Ladies.
Penix there. That's 800.
I'm gonna say no on the Chiefs winning in the worst way with the stupid shit. I'm putting $300 on that. I'm also gonna do $50 on
3,
skip.
4, 5, 6, 7. That's
I should
$1,000.
wait. I wait 1,000.
300 on
Three,
fantasy, 200 on Brown,
six.
200 on Penix. So that's 7.
Oh
300
yeah.
on Chiefs. That's 1,000.
No. Wait. I 100 on my Penix.
Oh, you're putting
Oh
100 on
oh
that.
oh oh yeah. I said sorry. 100 on my Penix.
Okay.
Sorry. Take
Yeah,
100
no,
off
just
my Penix.
drop a Benjamin on the Knicks.
Yeah. So I'm saving $100 because I'm going $50 on skip tweets and I'm going $50 on the non 1 p.m. games. I had to put some money down on that. In fact,
Yeah.
I carved out enough money to just put some money on that wild
Look,
7
I
p.m.
feel good
1
about
p.m.
all
game.
three of my bets, even if they don't make sense. They all feel like they're going to be good lines. Yeah,
Well, and that's what how many times have we said it this year that we are oddly good at coming up with dumb
really
lines.
close
It's
lines.
so it's so weird how like one or two off like our lines have been all season long. We have a gift. It's just shame that this gift
We do. It's
cannot.
for like a gift exchange that people would leave.
Yeah. It's like, oh, cool. This is a gift.
We're
Yeah,
putting the
it's the gifts that
Y.
you.
Yeah.
These are the gifts that they sell at Party City, where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay,
This
I'll
is
play
the
with this for
Y
like a
and white
day.
elephant gift exchange.
My lock. I don't know if I gave you a lock, did I?
No luck yet.
I'm gonna go with my lock being my fantasy points for 300.
You were
That's a
doing the
big
opposite of
lock.
the Austin hedging here.
I know.
This is
I
the
know.
Austin tries to have a
You
really
know
good
what it
week.
is? The Titans had an absurdly bad week last week against the Command Skins,
Yeah.
giving up 255 yards on the ground
Yeah.
rushing. And that's a defense that prides itself on not being able to run the ball on them. So I think they're going to really hunker down and they're
Yeah.
playing a Jags team that is reeling with no
That
Trevor
has all
Lawrence.
hurt running backs taking turns, taking plays off. I've
Yeah,
never seen a
exactly.
team with less momentum ever than this Jaguars team. I've just never seen a team who I've ever thought could ever get 6 yards.
The Jaguars are the one reason why I don't feel as bad about the Titans as I normally
Yeah.
would.
And every
Like
time I
that.
watch the Jags, I'm like, I wish every one of these receivers was on the Chiefs. I'm like, how it's
Yeah.
chaos. Why are they?
Is
What are
it
they doing?
not Brian Thomas. Uh
Thompson?
the Jaguars. Brian Thomas Jr. It is Brian
Yeah,
Thomas. Brian Thomas Jr. The Jaguars wide receiver, dude's so good.
he's incredible.
And yeah, there are so many like players on the Jags that it's like, why are they not better than they are?
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
no, it doesn't. I watch ETN and I'm like, well, I hope they draft your brother.
Yeah. And Evan Ingram has got to be
Yeah.
one of the better tight ends in the league, but for whatever reason, they just
Evan
I don't know.
Ingram's going to have that career trajectory where he's going to be who's that wide receiver who played until he was like 40 that's still sometimes in the league on a random roster?
Oh, you
Evan,
mean just every Titans wide receiver?
yeah, Evan
40-year-old wide
Ingram's going to be
receivers
around
that
a
are past their
long
prime?
time.
Yeah. Yeah. The Titans will like that's the thing. Like I tweeted the other day about
Mercedes Lewis, that's who I'm thinking of. Evan Ingram's
oh
going to have that
yeah.
same Mercedes Lewis trend. I literally Googled
Chicago Bear.
tight end play real old and Mercedes Lewis popped up.
The I always joke that Justin Jefferson is going to be such a great Tennessee Titan when he turns 38. Like
Oh my
that
God.
is,
He's going to what'll be crazy is he'll be 38 on the Titans and then have 200-yard games to start the year and then no more.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
have one when he's 39 playing for some other team.
Nashville is the Titans wide receiver retirement home. That is what they
Yeah.
it's what they are, and I've come to terms with it. And you know what? I better to get those legends on your roster than to not have them at all, right?
Sure. All right, everybody, get your bets in. It's this fun, maybe one of the last weeks where anyone's doing anything in this weird little pocket of time. I feel good
Yeah.
about all the bets. We'll see how it
hmm
goes. Best of luck,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, follow Korked Bats to keep tabs on this podcast, to check the clips but also mostly the leaderboard of
Yeah.
each guest's winnings and losings every week. We wish the best to Julie Stewart-Binks on her bets, but yeah, at Korked Bats on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and all of the likes. At Kyle Ayers. I'm at Austin Huff. Follow us if you like, but mostly follow Korked Bats. And do all the things that we have to say it. We legally have to say it because we have a podcast, but do all the things like engage, share, comment, anything to help this podcast try and pull some numbers. We really
I mean, a big thing you can
it.
do is on whatever platform you use, tag people you want to be on it.
Yeah.
I think primarily on Twitter and Instagram, if you tag sports folks or comedians that you want to do the podcast, you'd be surprised how big of guests you can get just from 2 people asking for them.
No, seriously. Yeah, it's a great way to put this podcast on people's radars. And with that, we ask for the challenge from our guests each week, but yeah, you, the listener, can definitely help contribute to that as well. So we hope that you do so.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for doing so. We love you, and good luck on your bets. We love you.